Hello, everyone. So good to see you all here. This is going to be a real treat here today, and the timing really could not be better for this. and Luis, which if anybody who doesn't know, I think everybody knows us now. But my name's Demetria with AbundanceAngel.org, and my co-partner, who's co-creating this world of this new world of peace, is what I like to bring forward. This world where we come together united, knowing that we are really not separate and that we are all parts of one organism in harmony. And Louise she has been doing what she's doing for a very long time. She's been studying and practicing astrology for 30 years and working professionally as an evolutionary astrologer since 2012. She's known as the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology, and she loves to combine all of her passions as an astrologer, a writer, a shamanic healer. That was actually something that really got my attention. I thought, wow, an astrologer and a shamanic healer, like that's my kind of combo. And a certified hypnotherapy and past life regression therapist. So she really can help you regain a deep connection with the cycles of the universe so that you can create a really extraordinary life. And she provides counseling classes and offers a membership community. And she has authored 2 books, A Complete Guide to Astrology and Modern Astrology, Harness the Stars to Discover Your Soul's True Purpose. I love that. And you can get those at all major booksellers, including indie outlets. So join me in welcoming Luis. I'm so glad you made time to be here, even though you can't even, you're out in nature on a trip. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I mean, as you said, it's such an important time right now. We're in the peak of it. So we arranged this short trip for my birthday, which was 2 days ago. And then I realized I was traveling back on the day we'd planned this call, and I thought I still have to do it. So I'm coming from Bryce National Park in Utah. So
yeah, and I want to say happy birthday. It was on Monday. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. I was like, oh, I needed to wish her. I'll wish her a happy birthday on the call. It's funny. I have to tell you, this is an interesting synchronicity. The last time we had our live call, it was my birthday, I think a few days prior as well.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. That's funny.
So, it's like, wow, that's interesting. New beginnings, very symbolic of that. So
very much. Yeah.
So many questions, but I'll let you get started because this is major right now, right? I mean, I feel like, and I keep hearing how between 12/12 and 12/21, this is like, we're in this sort of magic portal where we really can kind of make things the way we've been wanting them, like coherent, world of peace. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, I kind of see it as the universe giving us an opportunity to do it. That doesn't mean we necessarily will, unfortunately. So we all have to step up to do it. We're right now we're in the thick of it. We had an eclipse on Monday on my birthday, which lucky me, yay! and we're having these series of new moons, and Monday's was a total solar eclipse, which is a new moon. And they're all at 23 degrees. So there's several things I'm going to be talking about. These new moons at 23 degrees, 23 is a really powerful number in numerology. It's a number of change, it's a number of strength, but it is a number of moving into a very different world. And we've got 6 new moons all at the same degree in different signs. So that's one start. And not only that, it was a total solar eclipse that lasted 2 minutes, 10 seconds, which is a very long eclipse, really. And so it was eclipses are resets, and it's on the axis of truth and knowledge. We're being invited to really move into a new truth and to learn new ways to do things. But even bigger than that, Now, on next Monday, on the solstice, we have what's called the Great Mutation. We have Saturn and Jupiter meeting at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And the two, Saturn and Jupiter, meet every 20 years, well, 19.85 to be exact. But this time, it's shifting into air signs for the first time, well, nearly for the first time in 200 years. How these great conjunctions of Saturn and Jupiter work, they meet in the same element for about 200 years. And they shift elements over time. And the last time they were in air signs, it began in 1226. So you can see how long it's been since we were in an air cycle for these great conjunctions. And the last time it happened was the time of the Renaissance. You know, that was a rebirth of art and science and all those good things, and a very big time for philosophy and things. But we can see that it kind of went a bit sideways. You know, we had a lot of philosophers who were really preaching a more kind of humanistic, kind of connected kind of philosophy, but we lost it along the way. I kind of think that this time might be a little bit different potentially, though, because we are also moving into the age of Aquarius. Astrological ages last around 2,500 years. So, and the kind of move between the ages is a process over time. But combined with the move into this age of air, I think we're really kind of hurtling into the portal of the age of Aquarius at warp speed now, which is kind of funny because that warp speed is being used as the name for the vaccine program that's being developed for the and air signs move fast, you know, and so we're moving into this age of air. And air is about connectedness, it's about ideas, it's about communication, it's about the World Wide Web, it's about this real community and humanitarianism at its highest incarnation, which is what we want. I'll pause in case you've got any questions before I rattle on.
Yeah, no, so much, so much just chaos. I mean, it's like, why are all these things are kind of flashing off? But yeah, the biggest thing I really want to, two things you said that are really a big part of what my message is and why I'm doing these calls. And that is that I firmly believe, and this has been my intention since I was a child. You know, I wanted this world of peace, right? I was, you know, I mean, when I found out that song with the Beatles, the John Lennon's imagine all the people living for the day, living life in peace. And I thought, gosh, that's the world I thought I was born into when I was a child, and I was in for a rude awakening. But, but I feel like the main message now is, it is time now, and we are so supported by the stars. Like, it's literally aligned. The stars have aligned for us to all now come together, to put aside our differences, to honor our differences. But now we are now united. We're able to come together united and serve in our own unique way. So it's like from service to self to service to the all, honoring our unique differences. And I just love how you basically are like going through all of the alignments that are absolutely supporting that. And the second thing I wanted to say that you brought up, and that has been coming so strongly, I actually had a dream where I was holding my tongue, physically holding my tongue. I'm sorry, sorry for that image, but it's just that communication and what came strongly is that we keep hearing, right, that our thoughts and our words are creating the world. and there's such a, it's so important. It's so important that we have
Mhm.
these, nice thoughts and things like that. But I do want to add something in there. And I think it applies to everyone here. I'm sure it does. You wouldn't be here if, if it
Yeah.
didn't apply to you. And there's a little bit of a nuance to that. If you are a sensitive person, if you are sensitive and empathic in any way, don't be afraid of your thoughts.
No.
Don't be afraid of your words, because I think so many women, empathic women, have been so afraid to
Mm,
speak, and afraid of their own thoughts and their own words, that they've just
mm,
chosen to be silent most of the time.
mm,
And what came to me is, we came to this earth with this tool of voice and this tool of language, so that we
yeah.
can use it, not to be, yes, to, we know we're beings of love. Our intention is love, and so of course it's
Mm,
going to be used with love,
mhm.
so I just feel like that's just an important message I want to impart. And I feel like what's happening right now is really kind of supporting that and honoring our
Mm.
voices. So I'll let you take it away, and how that, yeah, how
And
that's.
I will say, as we move into this new paradigm, this new era, whatever you want to call it, our words are becoming even more important. And I love that you say don't be afraid of them. I would say, but be mindful of your words and choose your words intentionally. A big part of my second book, The Complete Guide to Astrology, is speaks about this new energy we're moving into, and about how our words shape our universe. And we're moving into this age of Aquarius. The symbol of Aquarius is two waves. Okay. And people always think that's waves of water, but actually it's waves of energy. And if we think about our words when we put them out, the words we choose really kind of create how we see the world. And so, as we move into this new paradigm, it's my belief that the waves also represent like quantum wave theory, and the fact that the quantum mechanics are showing us now that everything we do is connected by molecules and energy, and that the words we choose will really change how we see the world. My aim is to change the language used in astrology, because we
Mm.
are moving away from that separate time, as you said, where we think we're so apart, to realizing we're all connected. But that doesn't mean that we're becoming this homogenous kind of vanilla kind of mass. It just means we're recognizing we're all connected on this continuum. So somebody on this end of the continuum is connected to somebody on the far end of the continuum, and then there's all the little things in between, including nature and animals and the stars and the planets and everything. It's just all works in this beautiful harmony together. And our language for this new paradigm must really start to reflect that. So, I started off by trying to get people to stop saying masculine and feminine. Because did you know those two terms were have only been in use since the 14th century?
Interesting.
Yeah. They're full of loaded meanings. Masculine, feminine. What does feminine mean to you? It does it for most people, it means, very girly, very pink, and not everybody identifies with that. I'm a female, but I'm not very feminine. We have to move away from these things, and I think we have to start to learn to choose all our language very mindfully and intentionally. So,
I think you just hit on something actually really big. Like, yeah, because I actually think it's part of our dualistic, I guess, part of the duality construct, that we created here on Earth. But I think you're right. I think we're moving beyond these terms, these
mm,
separative terms of masculine and feminine, and
mhm,
people wanting to meet their twin flames. And so there's this constant searching for something outside of you,
Yeah.
not knowing it's all you. You are your, you are your lover, you are your twin flame,
Hmm.
but you're right. It's like, it's this languaging, thousands of years of languaging. You said since the 1400s. So
That's just those two words. Yeah,
yeah,
you
and
know.
that's just, yeah. And so that's really it, but it really is kind of, it separates. And if we can unite that,
Hmm.
and then it's like, we're just playing, we're just
Hmm.
co-creating. And so I love that. Okay, I absolutely love that. You also said you would answer a couple questions.
Hmm.
If
Sure.
anybody wants to ask a question, I'll let you put it in the chat. In the meantime, I have another big question that I had been thinking about. So there are a lot of prophecies, and I mean, 2020 is no better evidence of how really all these magnificent beings of light and their prophecies are accurate.
Yeah.
Yes, big changes are absolutely have come on our planet, and they are continuing. And I have so much respect. And, it's also supported by what scientists are saying when they talk about the solar flares.
Hmm.
So, there's the prophecies of like the red Kachina. They're coming like this baptismal fire, the Vedic prophecy of the Savartika fire, so it's like talking about light, and then
Hmm.
solar flares. And then okay, so I've heard you talk about this famous date, which, I mean, the 21st or the 20th that's coming, 21st.
21st, yeah. On the
21st is the
solstice.
big date, but
Yeah.
you also refer to another date, you said, in 2024, which
Hmm.
matches up with these other prophecies.
Hmm.
So, what is that date in 2024?
December the 7th, 2024. It's when Venus and Ceres, dwarf planet Ceres, and dwarf planet Pluto all meet at 0 Aquarius, the same spot that Saturn and Jupiter are meeting at on Monday, and on the 21st of this year. So, I don't know how aware, probably your listeners are very aware of mythical stories, but the story of Persephone and Pluto and Demeter or Ceres, it depends whether they're Greek or Roman, is an eternal one of kind of family relationships, the union of the male and the female, and alignment with life and death and the natural cycles. And the three are all joining together. I see Venus as Persephone, and Ceres, of course, is Ceres, and Pluto is Pluto. And they're coming together, to my mind, in this big kind of healing point in 2024 that is bringing together all these stories of the loss of connection that we've had with our humanness, but also our connection with how the cycles of the universe work and the cycles of nature. And I've not heard many other astrologers talk about this point, and I don't get it. I've mentioned it to some, and I just think it's huge, personally. So, you know.
It is huge, Louise. Why I was that's why I was like, I'm listening to you and I'm like, yeah, you're part of this like higher, sort of higher dimensional, kind of higher consciousness astrology, where you
Mm,
are kind of taking us um, through the understanding of the alignments of the planets into this cohesion, into this,
mm,
instead of separating us further, so that's the important thing for me. But yeah, you always mention that 2024, you've mentioned it several times in your
mm,
videos, and it's been corroborated with these other master beings who
mm.
see, like, they can actually see that there's, well, tremendous light coming in on the 2021st, and then it's just going to continue. And
Yeah,
my understanding, it's going to continue quite massively, and it's going to reach its peak, they're saying, in 2024, which
cool.
is this intense. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so knowing this information
Mm,
at this point in time, how how can we all best prepare, And what is the best thing that we could be doing between now, and let's be specific, between now and the 21st?
And 24 and oh, between
Yeah.
just between now and Monday. Yeah, well, it's kind of like a big new moon, if you like. So as you set new moon intentions, which I hope everybody did on the eclipse on Monday, then it's time to kind of double down on them. These are like 200-year intentions, and or even beyond, And yes, we won't be alive for that long, but what we set in motion will last, 200 years and beyond. So, it's a good look at what we've learned this year, I think, through this turmoil and the past few years, but mainly this year, about how to create a life that works differently. We're moving into this new age, and ironically, even though it's an age of connectedness and things, I do think a lot of this, a lot of the personal kind of separation, distance is part of the Aquarian for a while, at least till we learn how to heal the earth a little bit and our relationships with it. It's setting intention to create something of your own. I don't think we're, to get a little bit technical about what's coming, I think in this age of air that we've got coming, I do think remote working is going to become huge. I also think a lot of jobs will not come back. For those of you in the USA, if you remember Andrew Yang talking in his political presidential race. So it's not about Democrats and Republicans. This was just about his message. Jobs are going to be taken over by machines and things. We have to move. We have to think differently. We have to start thinking out of the box about creating a life that works for everybody, that's not based on the old paradigm, the jobs for life, the going to the office, the going to the factory, whatever. So really, I think to do between now and just Monday is to set intention to be really open to the change and the new developments that are coming, because they're coming. I got accused of on a review for my podcast of refusing to look at the dark side of the transhuman agenda. And I was like, what's the point in looking at the potential dark side? We don't know it yet. I think we just have to be open to the potentials of the new scientific discoveries and things. Sure, there'll be some negatives, but we don't know what they are. So I'm not going to sit in this might happen, this development might do this to so-and-so or whatever. Why? I don't see the point. I think we've got to set intention to remain open big time. So
Yes, like we were saying, we were saying also the language, right? What you speak into, you're creating.
Exactly.
You have an audience, there's people listening, and so everything we say, we're impacting, the collective. So not to be afraid, we're allowed to speak, what we express.
Yeah.
Especially when you start speaking, obviously there's going to be some wobbles,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, and I'm going to forgive myself for that. And allow
Exactly.
that, and give others permission to wobble as well, so that we can walk.
Yeah.
But knowing, I just want to speak into what you were saying, is it's important that we want to paint a picture of the world that we want to create, and that's what we want to intend. So someone is asking a question, Guru Nam, does astrology apply only to humans on Earth, or does it apply to all souls everywhere?
All souls everywhere.
Yeah.
It applies to events, it applies to countries, it applies to I've never tried doing a chart. Well, actually I have. I'm lying. I'm actually thinking of writing a book about the dwarf planet Ceres, and her discovery has an astrology chart that kind of describes her nature. So yeah, astrology applies to everything.
I want to read that book. I want to read that
Cool.
book because, yeah, Ceres and Demeter, right? Those are the six.
Yes.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I have a strong connection to Demeter. Hello. I mean, hello.
I might actually be writing it more from a kind of novel fiction point of view, kind of a rewriting of the myth rather than an astrology book, but we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Yes, I absolutely want to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love what you, yeah, well, because it also applies, like you said, to countries, because I think that
Yeah.
about that in our last call is the astrology for the United States.
Hmm.
They're having their Pluto, we're in our Pluto return that's coming up in 2021. And something you said also that's important is um and I just had to pause there.
It's okay.
Is important is like about understanding that connection, and that the jobs, a lot of companies, a lot of industries we're going to see dissolve and to
Hmm.
fall away, because any kind of system right now that is not based on unity, that is not based on what we would say love. When I
Hmm.
say love, I mean unity, I mean coherence.
Mm.
If it's not based on that, it has to dissolve, because my
Yeah.
understanding is the earth grids and the frequency of the earth, uh, it was able, because it was at a certain frequency for a very long time, and so it was able to support these kind of more ego dominated kinds of structures, but now that's not supported anymore, so we're going to
Yeah.
see a lot of that dissolve, right?
I agree. Yeah. It's very earthbound, as you say, very earthy ego, connected to the material world, connected to um, using the earth and things like that. Now, yeah, we still have to live on the earth and with the earth, but we're going to have to find a new way. I think there's going to be a lot of developments in food growing, a lot of vertical food growing. I think a lot of vertical living. I think there'll be flying vehicles. We'll just be less rooted to the earth, but not in a bad way. Not in a way that we're not connected, but so that we're lighter touch on the earth. I think is going to be a big thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and when you say that, what I'm feeling is like, for so long it's so hard to manifest what you're thinking, right? There's such a
Mm,
gap between thought and creation, and since Aquarius is about that etheric mental versus Capricorn the structure, so
mm.
now when we do set an intention, its manifestation is probably going to be a lot quicker, would you say?
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, but although I think manifestation, I think a lot of people just think of making money when they think of manifestation. So I think we're going to be moving away from that. I think we'll go to things like universal basic income eventually and stuff. So people are less focused on work, 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 and the grind kind of thing. Yeah, I'm a bit idealistic maybe, but I'm sure there's going to be some downsides to all this, but it'll all shake out. So.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
important, anybody who's going through that right now. Thank you for mentioning that, because maybe maybe what's being called for right now is a lot is rising to the surface, and that is a tremendous opportunity to
Mm,
expand,
yeah.
even bigger. It's almost like, because when you're going through sort of like something that you don't prefer, experience an emotional experience you don't prefer, it calls forth the larger aspect of your nature,
It
right?
does. Oh, it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to be bigger, you have to
Hmm.
be bigger to parent and to hold that experience within yourself. It's like you
Mm,
become that parent that your parents, bless their hearts, just didn't have the capacity in this kind of society, where they have to work, they have to work really hard, in that paradigm of working really hard to make ends meet. You know, how much capacity does that leave to really adequately provide that love and care for everything that a child goes through? I mean,
Yeah,
even the best situations, right?
exactly. And you know, I think we'll want less. Well, we're seeing it already. The small home, tiny home movement and things. We'll want less stuff. We'll want less. W- It'll be more reliance on ideas and art and science and thought. It's I suits my world perfectly. Thank you very much. I've already, even things like crystals and things like that. We were just in Sedona, and my husband's like, "Do you want to go in that rock shop?" And I'm like, "No, I don't need any rocks anymore. You don't need them." It's like,
The simplicity, yeah, the
yeah,
simplicity of like really kind of finding what you're looking for within, and
hmm
allowing that
hmm
to come. Yes, so more inside out versus outside
yes,
in.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, if anybody has any other questions, I will allow one last chance to ask any other questions. Otherwise, we will let you enjoy the rest of your birthday week
Thank you.
and being in nature. And thank you for bringing the nature to all of us, because I
You can
think,
see the snow.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You see the snow behind me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, no, I'm kind of in awe. I think right after this, I'm going to go outside because I feel like now is a good time to be in nature, in that stillness, in
hmm
that silence. That's where you can really hear your own voice and hear your
Exactly.
song, your own tune. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for making time for us, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Always enjoy these things. I'll have me on again anytime.
Yes, we'll definitely do this again. And thank you all so much for being here. You are all so important to what we're creating here, and to this new portal that's like opening. I mean, it's like this gift for all of us who have been wanting this, and who really want to see a cohesive and a peaceful
Mhm.
and joyful and playful world. And that's what we're
Mhm.
speaking into. And as we speak it, so shall it be. And with that, I think we both are bidding all of you the greatest blessings moving forward. Love you
Yeah.
all, and thank you, Luis, again. And
And
namaste.
thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.